Welcome to the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. I'm Kim McLaughlin and I am your host. In this episode, we're joined by Erin Summ, who's a confidence coach. You might remember hearing from Erin in a podcast previously where we talked about how to increase confidence. Now we're going even deeper. Sometimes confidence is associated with shyness, and we're discussing how there are so many more components to confidence than just that. Join us in the podcast as we talk about 3 statements you might make which indicate a lack of self-confidence, how haters can increase your confidence, and 4 practical, small steps you can do to help increase your confidence now. Let's get started. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. I'm Kim McLaughlin, and I'm your host. Today, we are joined by my friend, Erin Summ. And if you don't recall, I'll remind you, she was with us. She was my very first guest back in 2019. It's been that long, Erin, and it's a good thing we're up talking again. And I will put a link to that podcast because I re-listened to it and it has some great gems. So I want y'all to go back and listen to that. That's a great conversation that we had, and we're just going to build upon that today. And we're calling this Beyond Confidence. So we're going to move beyond that. Erin Summ is my friend. We have known each other for a long time. She is a confidence coach, and she has a history of passion parties, which is what we talked about a lot in our previous podcast about how that builds confidence. Erin, welcome to the podcast. Tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. I forgot I was your first podcast guest.
You were my first guest, and so it's been too long for you to come back. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, thanks for having me back. So as you were saying, yeah, I did passion parties. So I went from my short story, it would be that I used to be very shy, and now I'm a confidence transformation coach. And I one of my big, huge first leaps was joining passion parties. And for those of you who don't know what passion parties is, it's in-home parties for women, just like Mary Kay or Tupperware or any of those things, except we sell lotions, potions, things that go buzz in the night. So that was like, that was a massive, massive leap outside my comfort zone because I was so shy. I hated speaking in front of people. And so to take that leap of not only having to speak in front of people, but to sell things and to sell, toys
Yeah.
was like a massive, massive leap. But I did that because I knew that I was here for a reason,
Mhm.
but I was very shy and I knew I was wanting to make a difference for people, but how was I supposed to do that? And
Mhm.
so I knew that joining passion parties and building a team and speaking in front of people would help me build my confidence, get outside my comfort zone, do something different.
Mhm.
So I did that. I met my first life coach. She was one of my leaders, and I learned about coaching and fell in love with it and thought this is what I want to do. So that's a very short version of that story, but
Do you think so? I want to ask you something actually that we haven't talked about, but I'm not sure that I know the answer to it. Do you think being shy always goes with confidence or the lack of confidence? Do they go together like a lot?
that's a really good question. And for me, it certainly did.
Mhm.
I think probably for a lot of women it does, because shyness, I think, kind of means that you aren't very confident because you're holding yourself back, like you're
Mhm.
shrinking yourself down.
Yeah.
Um, you're not really allowing yourself to be your true self, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. My husband talks a lot about being shy, and it's like, no, you're shy. You're not shy. Like you go out there. It's just I think it's that underneath confidence of I can do this, I can handle this thing. But I think we often interpret it that way.
Hmm.
And then as you move into confidence, it's like, oh, and this is how I get beyond that, right? How I get beyond that shyness. I don't know why. I just thought that was interesting kind of connection that I hadn't thought about before until you talk about that quite a bit. So what I did was I looked back at our podcast before and I wondered what did we talk about and if we could give like a 2.0 version of it. And what we talked about before is we talked about confidence in terms of self or inner worth, in terms of self-belief. And I
Yeah.
wondered, like, are there other kind of words or feelings that resonate with people who struggle with confidence? We were just talking about that with the shyness, right?
Mhm.
That I think, you've seen shyness and confidence, the words go together. Are there other words, other feelings that like people might say, oh, it's not confidence, it's not self-belief, but like it's this other thing? What do you hear people talk about?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, but some of the top ones are like, I don't deserve that. So if you're, for example, if you're thinking, oh, I would really love to have this thing, this maybe it's a car, or maybe it's it doesn't have to be a material thing, but it could be, a relationship or something like that. Well, I'm not, I don't deserve that. No, I don't deserve that. Or if maybe somebody's trying to give you a gift, oh no, I don't deserve it. Or I haven't worked hard enough yet for that. Maybe it's that you don't feel good enough yet for those things and whatever you're after. Maybe you're not taking action. So maybe you have a business or you have a goal, but you're not taking action on that. Ask yourself, why is that? Is it because I
Mhm.
don't feel good enough? Is it that I don't feel confident in myself? That I don't believe that I'm worthy of that? Right? So there's like all these different beliefs that we
Yeah.
have that have to do with our confidence. Second guessing yourself,
Oh,
you know,
wow. Yeah.
yeah, second guessing is a huge one. Procrastination. Um, but yeah, second guessing. Oh, I don't know. You just like keep spinning your wheels,
Yeah.
spinning in your mind, and you're not actually taking action. You just keep second guessing, and I don't know if this is the right thing to do, um, and you don't actually get things done.
Yeah. It's interesting. It seems to be such a myriad of issues, maybe is I guess maybe is the best word I can think of that go with it. I don't deserve it. I don't feel good enough. I don't take action. I'm second guessing. I'm procrastinating. I'm lazy. Like all those things, right, show up that
Yeah.
hold us back. And if we, and you're saying that like if we build up our confidence, actually those things can go by the wayside or we can move those out.
Yeah, those feelings, those thoughts and feelings and those beliefs are going to start dissipating. The more you build your confidence, the more you feel good about yourself, the more you feel worthy. Um, you know, the more you build your confidence, those beliefs, those limiting beliefs are going to
Hmm.
start dissipating and you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to take more action, inspired action. You're going to feel more worthy of having the things that you want. And all of this is work, and it's going to take it takes time, it takes work. It's an ever evolving, never ending process. Like
Yeah.
the higher you go in your with your goals and your vision,
Hmm.
the you're gonna have to go through this again because you're gonna have that thing come up again. Where am I worthy of this
Yeah.
next thing?
It's a whole thing, and I find it interesting you're saying that like if we work on all those areas, the thoughts and the feelings and the how we hold ourselves back, that if we work on confidence,
Mhm.
those things go by the wayside, they dissipate,
Yeah.
because when we go in it through the confidence lens, as you increase the confidence, right, the other things go down.
Hmm. Yeah. And as you move on to the next level too, then that stuff's gonna come back. There's that saying, next level, new devil or
Next
whatever.
level, new devil. Yeah,
And then
that's next level.
yeah, but then as our mentor Denise Duffield Thomas says, she says new level, old devil because it's the same shit that keeps coming out, right? Like, but it's a different version of it. It's a higher level of it.
That's fascinating that you say that, because it's that thing of going the spiraling up and things come back around in a different way, and people will all the time they'll say, I thought I was done with that, I don't know why that's coming back.
Yeah.
And so it's like you up level yourself and those little triggers show back up to kind of help you build your confidence in a different, to a higher level. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
I find that happens all the time. It's
Yeah.
really, it's the new level old devil is like the same thing as like I've had that recently in the past couple of years with the same thing, like the same themes that kept showing back up. It's like maybe rather than the problem, maybe it's the theme that I need to, right? The
Yeah.
thing, the
Yeah.
thing that's all around it, what's the same about all of these things? Me.
Yeah.
And what's the same about me? I've been doing it the same where I've had the same thought about myself or the same feeling. And like maybe if I get at that, then I can move on. Do you find
Mhm.
that happens with your clients that as they focus more on the confidence, the other things kind of slip away?
Mhm. Yeah, they become more bold, they become, well, more confident, obviously. They
Mhm.
take more action. I've had several clients become coaches themselves
Oh,
from
wow.
working with me, going from like not wanting to be seen or heard or like just terrified of speaking out. And then they become coaches and they start speaking and writing books and doing all the things. So, yeah.
That's a sure big move, big bold move into confidence to like have a business around the thing that you've increased. I mean, you're an example of that for yourself, like, and you have that business of showing how you have increased your confidence.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So I'm going to move to a different area because the other thing that we talked about in our first podcast, which I hope you all listened to, um, is called is was perfectionism, and we talked about perfectionism, how it acts as a shield it keeps us safe. Like, right, if we're in perfectionism, I can only move forward if it is perfect, and as we all know, it's like not. It's perfectionism is nothing we can ever get to because it's might be perfect for a moment and then that's fleeting and then it's not. If you've ever
Right.
written a book,
Yeah.
ever written a book, it's like, or people who write, movies, it's like, oh, there's this little thing I could have done.
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is what could we do like small, powerful steps to break free from perfectionism and move more to move forward even when we fear being judged or having all those second guessing you talked about, the I don't deserve it, all those thoughts. How do we break free from that perfectionism, because that is one of those things that keep us from, I think, acting in a more confident way or feeling more confident.
Hmm. Yeah, perfectionism is definitely something I've struggled with my whole life. Like I am a Virgo, and that comes with the territory. Only child comes with the territory. All the things. It's like I've been triple whammied on the perfectionism gene, but I've worked really hard on it because I would spend so much time, perfecting the web page, perfecting the content, perfecting the this and the that and the other thing that I would never get it out there, or it would take so long. But for me, I just one of my old mentors, Katerina Rando, who you know, Kim,
Yeah.
she always says done is better than perfect.
Mhm.
And it's so true. And I try to remind myself of that. So like breaking through the perfectionism is for me, it's just like reminding myself done is better than perfect. There is no perfect, right? There might be like a layout issue where I really don't like the way that looks, but I'm just going to go with it because probably nobody else is going to notice, have it be professional, but it's never going to be perfect. You're Whatever you're doing is never going to be perfect, and we just have to like embrace that and keep going because we're just going to get stuck otherwise and not move forward. And the
Mhm.
people who love you and who are your people are not going to care if it's perfect or not. And the people who do care aren't your people. So let them go,
Amen.
Like,
Amen, sister. That's just true.
yeah,
And also it's interesting when you made me think about things like when it's somebody that I care about or somebody that I really want them to do well. It's
yeah,
like, I give them a second. Oh well. They're just starting out. Or this thing's going, oh, no, no. Well, I'm gonna kind of not hold them to that high standard.
yeah.
Or kind of call them out on it because I want them to be successful. It's interesting because it's something that holds us back. I was thinking also as you were talking about how I used to not think I was a perfectionist. And so what I would say was, I'm not a perfectionist because I never do anything perfect. Because I'm not one of those ones who like, oh, it's got to be perfect. I never have used those words, but I am the person that I can't do it perfect. I can't, and like really kind of pulling myself back from doing something because I can't do it perfect. Well, of course not, I can't. But that is what I found for myself is that is a sign of perfectionism.
Hmm.
It's a piece of it. And so if you're holding yourself back, really kind of leaning into, is this about perfectionism? And if it's not, maybe it still is.
Yeah. But we can't, it's very hard for us to see our own stuff, right? Our own blocks. So thinking we don't have this or that, we might want to take a second look just in case, you know?
Well, yeah. I it's a thing, and I really like that idea of just moving forward. That I've learned that too, that idea of done is better than perfect. And I'll have to one of the things I've done, like my a little step I do is like I'll say that done is better than just Kim, just get it out. Just get
Hmm.
it out.
Yeah.
You can fix it later. Just get it out. And what's really interesting is that I'll just get it out, whatever it is, and I'll look back on it and go, oh, that actually is really good.
Yeah.
I like it. I can stand by it, right? There might
Yeah.
be a little tweaks that I might do,
Hmm.
but in retrospect, looking back, it's like, oh, look at that. Who wrote that? You did, Kim? That's really interesting because
Yeah. Ooh, look what I did.
look what I did.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so we can stop. And so that perfectionism is a form of fear about being judged, about,
Hmm.
really thinking, holding what other people think of us as more important than what we think of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we think of ourselves is the most important, right? Doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks.
That's a hard one to get to. I mean,
Hmm.
is that a form of confidence too?
Yeah.
How I think about myself is the more confident I am, the better I think about myself. Does that go hand in
Hmm.
hand?
Yeah. And the less you care about what other people think. And it's not that you don't, it's not that you don't care what other people think, but
Mhm.
it's like if somebody's going to judge you, criticize you, that's their issue, not mine. And
Yeah.
the more confident you are in yourself and what you're bringing to the world, the less you're going to care about the critics, right?
It's true. It reminds me, um, you talked in our last podcast about what do we call it? The haters. Like
Oh
that, you've gone big when you have on somebody writes you a letter or somebody criticizes you in public. It's like, and I like your reaction to it was, and actually Denise Duffield Thomas is who I learned that from. She's Get Rich Lucky Bitch. It's a book she has, which both Erin and I love and love being part of her community. Is she talked about how actually let's celebrate. Is that a twist on the theme?
yeah.
Let's
Right.
celebrate when we have a hater, when we have somebody who criticizes us. It's like, woohoo!
Yeah.
I remember you said this quite a while back. Yay, I got my first hater.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is like back then I was doing tons of videos and stuff, and I made a video and I was always, made up and looking nice. And so I had this hater and I knew her well. She was in my community and she just ripped me a new one day. And I was like, and this is what she does. Like this I know this person and I know she burns a lot of bridges. I know this about her, so I really did not take it
Mhm,
personally, but it was just like it
mhm.
was only a matter of time before she came after me. But I made a video that night where it's like I was wearing makeup. It was like 9 o'clock at night. This was like I was in a hoodie in my living room. It was my most popular video ever. It had like 1,200 views because I was just like, look, I just had my first hater. Yay me. And I celebrated
Yeah.
and I talked about what it means to have a hater. Like it means you've made it big. It means you're doing something right because you're not catering to what everybody wants or you're not worrying about what other people think. You're just being yourself and you're putting yourself out there and you're making your impact and not everyone's going to like you.
Well, and it's interesting to me that when you have somebody being critical of you, that the twist on it is, and I don't take it personally, and it doesn't matter, and people are going to think what they think. And
Mhm.
those are those really changes in your mindset that increase your confidence because you will have people who criticize you. It will happen. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people, part of their shyness is not wanting to have anybody be critical of them.
Hmm.
And so you hold back and hold back and hold back because I don't want anybody to criticize me. And they're going to.
Hmm. Yeah, it's going to happen. If you're in business, you're going to have critics. Like, you know.
If you're in business, you're going to have critics. If you're a parent, you're going to have critics. If you
Hmm.
work for somebody, you're going to have critics.
Yeah.
If you're driving down the street, you're going to have critics.
Right.
My daughter she just got her license. Lily just got her license last week, and she was
Ooh.
driving. I think it was last night, and she got caught in but there was cars all backed up, and she said, somebody drove by me and they flipped me off. And she goes, I was just sitting there. And I go, there's the hater.
Get used to it, kid.
Even when you drive, like she was just sitting there and there was a hater, and it's like, dang. And what's interesting is that it didn't wreck her confidence about her driving or anything. It was just like, that was really strange and kind of, and she allowed him, the person who did that, to own their anger and their stuff, and like she didn't get into anything about needing to be right over them. It
Yeah.
was just interesting, but they show up all the way. So we gotta increase our confidence so we can manage all the haters.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about things to do, and I think people will think of you, Erin, and say, oh, Erin, she has this business, she's a confidence coach, she has a degree in psychology, she's done passion parties, she knows what to do. She knows what to do, because they're looking at you now. And if somebody's listening and going, I just feel really stuck, I feel really shy, I'm stuck in the same spot and not quite ready for that big leap of being a coach, or to go out and speak on stage, or to run a passion party. What's small, like if you could give them some really small ideas that increase confidence, because we're getting clearer and clearer that the more you increase your confidence, the more other things that are problematic go away.
Right. Well, so the first thing I would say is ask yourself, what are you afraid of?
Ooh.
What's the fear? Because oftentimes when we ask ourselves what the fear is, what am I afraid of? It's often not as big as we think it is. We make a bigger deal out of things than they really are.
Yes.
So asking yourself, what am I scared of? And then what's the worst that can happen if I
Mm.
do that thing?
Yeah.
So, maybe it's making videos. I know people are really afraid of video. I used to teach video confidence on video classes, and it was like terrifying. And so what am I scared of? I'm scared of being judged, criticized, da, 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 da. And then we go back to the things about the haters. Yeah, you're gonna have critics. Who cares? You have a bigger story to tell. You have a bigger mission than these people stopping you,
Yeah.
right? Like you have a bigger vision for your life and a bigger mission than to let the handful of critics scare you off. What's the worst that can happen if I do that thing that I'm
Hmm.
afraid of?
I like those because they're ways to check back into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm all about that in the therapy side of what I do with people, is like, what is the fear? And so what does that mean for you? What is this about? Like going deeper into it rather than putting a superficial band-aid on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and then asking ourselves what we're afraid of too is going to help us see, well, that's not really that scary after all. We tend to make these really big things out of molehills, mountains out of molehills.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
same goes with procrastination. It's like, oh, I'm procrastinating on this thing because I think it's going to be so hard and take forever, and then it takes 5 minutes and it really wasn't hard at all. Like kind of the same thing with fear,
Yeah.
right? And then how would I act? Like what would I do? How would I act if I felt confident and bold?
I'm writing all these down because I like them.
Yeah,
How
thanks.
would I act if I was confident?
Hmm. Or if I took a bold step, what would that bold step be? How would I act? What would I do?
Right.
You know, maybe it's having a tough conversation. What's scary about that? What would I do if I was feeling confident? What would I say? How would I approach it? Things like that. So it's
Yeah.
taking baby steps. I've taken lots of massive leaps, but I've also taken probably millions of little baby steps.
Right. I think people see you now and what you do and go, you what? You were like what?
Yeah.
And it's like they just see you now, and that doesn't discount all the steps it took to get here, like all the rest of us.
Hmm.
It takes the time that it takes to
Yeah.
get you to the spot.
Yeah.
So then the other thing I think of with this is like what you talk about, and what I see you doing is you really recognize the power of community, of
Hmm.
being with other people, and really doing that, which I think is one of your bold confident moves, is to join like that. And once again, people see you doing that and getting out there. I think they see, well, me, people have told me, "Oh, Kim, it's easy for you." It's not easy for me. It's not easy for me. I have an event tonight. I literally have an event tonight that I'm going to, and it's like, oh, okay, what's gonna, I have fear about it. I can pull back and I have to do some things to get myself in the game.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about somebody who goes, yeah, 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 Kim and Erin, you guys can go do these things. You speak, you do YouTube videos, you do a spontaneous video about your haters. Now, who does that, right?
Yeah.
Big, bold confidence, right?
Mhm.
So if people have trouble kind of getting outside of themselves to create more of that community, because then we can build each other up.
Mhm.
Do you have any idea about how to do it, or even your like how you did it?
Yeah.
Would be super helpful.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm an introvert too. So, I came from being a shy introvert and now I'm a confident introvert. So, but being with people, being with groups, new people especially, it can be daunting and can be scary. But for me, I look at what's the vision? What do I want out of my life?
Mhm.
What are the things that I want and what do I need to get there? Well, I need to meet more people, you know.
Mm,
I need to
mhm,
be in community. And so then I started going to networking events when I first started my business.
mhm.
My very first speaking gig was at a group that I went to every single week, and there was like 8 of us, and I was terrified to
Oh,
speak.
yeah.
And I literally typed out word for word my entire speech, and I read it like, and then blah, 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 I
Right in
mean,
front of your face. Oh my gosh.
I was so scared, even
Yes.
though I knew these people well. I spent like a year with them every week or something. Um, so it's taking those baby steps again and knowing that you're going to meet awesome people. Maybe if you're really scared, take someone with you. I went by myself to all the events, like being a shy introvert and not knowing anyone. I just started showing up to these events and networking groups and stuff that I didn't know anybody, but I just started going. And
Yeah.
I met people and feel into it too. There's groups that are going to fit for you and there's groups that aren't going to fit for you. Don't force yourself to go to the groups that aren't a fit, you know?
I think that's a good one is where's the one where I can have the biggest win? Where's the one that like I'll know somebody or somebody's going to be kind of on my side or kind of I'm going to resonate with
Yeah.
and do that.
Hmm.
Do that. I was also thinking as you were talking, so I am an extrovert. I love being out with people. I love all those things and I still don't feel confident sometimes. So like, it works for those of us who have more and so the hard part for me is so I have this real draw to be out there and to be with people and to be in community and sometimes my confidence feels low or sometimes I'm
Yeah.
just a little down on myself and I have to go through all the things you just talked about to get over myself so that I go do the thing. And what I always think about is, Kim, how will you feel at the end of it? At the end, you talk about your why is like, or your vision is like, well, at the end, I'll feel confident. At the end, I'll feel connected. I'll at least come home with a story of meeting somebody.
Yeah.
And that's I find really helpful because dang, it's hard to get over ourselves and over what our sense of what how other people might see us.
Hmm. Yeah, and I hear all the time, like, Erin, you're so good on video, I could never do that. Erin, you're so good at speaking, I could never do that. Erin, you're so good at blah, 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 I could never do that. And I'm like, listen, I didn't used to be good at it either. Like it's taken me a lot of
Yeah.
work. I didn't just pop out this way, like
Yeah.
it's taken me a lot of work to overcome the fears and all the things. And I still have the fears. I still lack confidence at
Yeah.
times. I go through things, there's things I've been through that have tanked my confidence and I have to drag myself back up again.
Yeah.
Um, it it takes work, I used to not hate speaking, but I used to be very afraid of it. And now I'm like, I run my own events and I get on podcasts and I do on my own videos and I do all these things that used to terrify me. I mean, my first videos, if you go back on my YouTube to the very beginning, it was like, hi, I'm Erin Summ and I'm a coach and blah, 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 and it was just like so stiff and I was reading the whole script and like,
Oh my
it
goodness.
was just, it was
Yeah.
I was very uncomfortable.
So I've known you for a long time, and we've been friends for a long time. And I remember you putting out those you would challenge people to come join with you and put out a video a day.
Hmm.
And we would do videos a day. And you want to move out of your comfort zone is get on video, find something halfway competent to talk about,
Yeah.
show up, right?
Mhm.
And do the things. And I remember that. And I remember um, that your why was, I want to help people feel more confident. And what's the biggest scary monster is speaking.
Mhm.
Speaking is a big, scary, hairy monster for people. And so
Yeah.
if I can help people, your big vision was, if I can help people do that, we're going to increase their confidence just by doing that. And
Mhm.
I think that, I think you live that idea of, what's my why? Why am I doing this? What's my vision? And then I'm going to go into it and really look at, really make that happen. So people are still maybe listening and going, nah, I'm not sure. Like, what's a mindset shift they can use, practice, that starts, the thoughts, feelings, behaviors. If we get back to how we're thinking about things, like some things that they can start building up to move into that space that you're talking about.
Yeah. So one thing I always tell people, I always start with what's your big vision?
Mm,
I do my vision boarding classes at the beginning of the year, and it's not just vision boards, it's way more about mindset than it is
mhm.
about the vision board. So we talk about the fears and the limiting beliefs and the things holding you back and not believing in yourself and all that stuff. But looking at your big vision is going to help you to get past those things that are scaring you. So start there. What are the baby steps that you can take? What's one little tiny baby step that you can take to start
Yeah.
moving forward? Um, and then using affirmations, so I tell people, like, if you are shy and you're really lacking confidence, to tell yourself I'm a confident woman is not going to be the affirmation for you, because you're going to be like, hell no, I'm not a confident woman. I'm like scared to death. So
Right.
like, ease yourself into the affirmations, ease yourself into working yourself up to being confident. So I'm gaining confidence every single day. I'm gaining more and more confidence every day as I step outside my comfort zone. Do
Mm-hmm.
something that's scary, but it's a little scary.
Scary,
To
but a
just,
little scary.
yeah,
If it's
like,
part of your big vision,
mm-hmm,
then something that's scary, but just a little bit scary, let's do that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a woman I work with. She is very shy, but she has this big mission to help people who are depressed, suicidal. She lost her brother to suicide. And so she's terrified of speaking and doing all the things, right? But she has this mission to save lives. So literally to save lives.
Literally.
And
Wow.
so she did her first speaking gig last week. She's starting to do podcasts. She's doing things where she's like so scared, but she's doing it because she knows that her mission and her vision for helping people is
Mhm.
way bigger than those fears. So if you can get into that space of like, holy crap, I'm really scared, but if I can help one person to live, that's what I said to her. If you can
The
help,
big
just
vision.
keep thinking like, if I can help one person, if I can save one life, what can I do? How would that
Right.
make me feel? How can I help that one person?
Yes.
She has to get out of her own way, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Because the
exactly what
vision is bigger than the fear.
exactly. Yeah. So
Nice.
you have to like look at what is my big vision.
Oh my gosh. With so much we're gonna have to do a part three some other day too. Oh my gosh.
Let's not wait 6 years.
Let's not wait. Well, COVID happened and life happened and
I
everything. And so
know.
it's like, yes, we need to do this more often.
I
So
know.
the
Time
thing I
flies.
like to ask Erin at the end of the podcast, because we're coming towards the ending, how do you feed your soul?
Mm. Yeah, so I gotta have to think about that. So, I love my garden and the sunshine.
Nice.
So springtime is like right now. Well, not today. It's cloudy and cold and rainy out there.
Yeah.
But this time of year, I love to just go in the garden. I love to
Mhm.
walk around and look at all my blooming flowers, and that feeds my soul. being together with people that I really care about and have deep connections with, having deep conversations and having nice nice conversations with my good friends.
Mhm.
Um, Meditating, visualizing, things like that, just really being able to calm my body and my spirit. That feeds my soul. Being with my kitty.
Oh my God.
She's so
Yes,
silly.
yes, yes, yes. I love those. I actually I have a surprise for you that I didn't tell you about. So Rita, I haven't told Erin about this, but in thinking about Erin today and thinking about feeding your soul, I brought with me Erin's cards. Bold, confident you. So it's called Bold, Confident You Unleashed Transformation Card Deck for Women. So here is my deck. And this is one of the ways I feed my soul is I love to pull one of her cards. Oh my gosh, this is back on the wall right behind you. So telling the story on Erin is that she actually took these pictures that are here.
Some of them,
Some of them.
not all of them.
Okay, not
I
all
can't
of them.
claim all of them, but yeah. I
I
did take that one.
I look at them. Yes. And so what I do with this, how I feed my soul is I take my card deck and I'm going to do it with you. So I just take my card deck, I kind of throw it about and then see and then something falls out and that's how I do it. So today is just be you. Nice. And what it says on the back is you know what makes you super cool, the fact that you are uniquely you. Try to fit in and be like everyone else is trying to fit in and be like everybody else is boring. So you have some quirks and flaws. Who doesn't? Every single human is perfect in their imperfections, which makes them beautiful and one of a kind. Today, grab your journal and write all the things that make you unique. Now embrace all of who you are and let you be you. Isn't that just what we were talking about? Like embrace all of you. So these are the cards. I'll put the link in the notes. Also, what's cool, I don't know if do you still have this?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
journal?
Yeah.
So this is a journal where whatever card you get, you write the card title and the date, and then you write down, you journal about it. So that's one of the ways I feed my soul is I use card decks and I use Erin's card deck to help me learn a little bit more about myself. So, Erin, how can people find you? How can they make contact with you?
Yeah. So I'm the only Erin Summ alive.
SUMM.
Yes. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on YouTube, TikTok. We don't know how long that's going to last, but I do have a Confident Woman community on Facebook. It's free, so you can come join me. It's the Confident Woman community with Erin Summ.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
We will link all of those, and I'll give the link to the cards because I really do like the card. I really do use them, so I'm not joking about that. Thank you, Erin, so much for being with us. Lots of really
Yeah.
interesting conversations. We really took confidence to a whole new level. Beyond confidence is what we're calling it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you for joining us on the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. We love bringing you fresh content to help you feed your soul. We would appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave a comment about our podcast so others can find us. This podcast is not a replacement for mental health counseling. If you are suffering, seek out a qualified mental health provider. You are worth it.